In the previous videos I was talking a lot about long points and pre-special long point, and I have made some great discoveries there. And today I would like to just add a little video to follow up on this, maybe to clarify things a little bit and maybe to come with some new things. So I think that the pre-special long point position is necessary prerequisite for any grappling place in 133. In 133 there are two grappling plays. Both of them start in a situation when I'm binding below and on the left, and now one of the plays is about reaching with the shield hand under my sword and grabbing the opponent's hands like this, and the other one is about me turning my back to the opponent and grabbing the opponent's arms with my hand. So these are two grappling plays that we will be talking about. And now, pre-special long point, in my opinion, is a position that enables me to launch any of these plays. Because if I want to do one of these plays, I need to have conditions for it. And it is pre-special long point that would give me these conditions. In order to do any grappling play, I first need to close the distance, because of course if I want to grab the opponent's arms, I have to be closer. This is what I have to do, but this is also a dangerous action, because as I am closing in, my opponent can strike me. So generally shortening the distance is potentially dangerous. So I need some way to do it safely. And I would say that pre-special long point is exactly the position that gives me this safety if I follow 133. So again, I am binding below and on the left, and now I want to close the distance, so I will switch into pre-special long point like this. Now notice that while I am doing it, I am remaining in the bind. Now I am in the bind, and through the whole action I am still in the bind. So I am always feeling what the opponent's sword is doing, and that is important, because if he would start to do something dangerous, I would immediately feel it, and because we are in the bind, I can immediately do something against it. So this is pretty safe. Another thing is that in fact here at the starting position I am binding below the opponent's sword, which is risky according to the priest, because the opponent has a free way to attack my head like this. But as I am switching into pre-special long point, I am switching kind of above the opponent's sword. It is not this usual above, but still I am going from below position to above position. And now if the opponent would like to strike me to the head, he can't, because he is already restricted by my sword. So by switching into pre-special long point, I am in fact getting into more safe type of bind, which is great. That is exactly what I want if I'm closing the distance. And third thing is that my shield, as I'm closing in, my shield goes back, because if I am here, I no longer need the shield to cover my hand, but there is this danger of the sword that can thrust me here in the belly. So as I am closing in, the opponent might thrust me like this. But exactly because of this, I am pulling my shield back to have it passively covered here, so I am safe. So the pre-special long point is, in my opinion, 133's way to safely close the distance, because you can do it in different ways, but this one is the safest and has the best properties. Pre-special long point is also a position that allows me to launch any of the two grappling plays from 133. So I'm binding below and on the left, and I have shown in the latest video this display of grabbing the opponent's arms with my sword arm, which is easy. It is just that I am closing in, and now I will use my sword arm to grab the opponent. But what is important is that from pre-special long point I can also launch the second play. So again I am closing in, and now I will reach under my sword with my shield hand and grab the opponent's arms like this. So from this pre-special long point I can do both of these actions. Notice that if I wouldn't do pre-special long point, for example, I would do some kind of Schützen like this. This is also possible position in which I can close in. But from this position, I can't launch this under the sword grab. Because I can't, because my shield is covering my hands, which is not necessary, because here the danger is no longer here. I am covering my hand that is not endangered, so I don't need to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. And that's why I can't reach under my hand, because I would need first to pull the shield back and then go here, and that would be too slow. So I could close in this kind of Schützen, but it is in fact more dangerous than pre-special long point, because now the opponent can thrust me, I am not protecting it, and I have less options because I can't like reach under the sword because I'm like this. So there are more options how to close in, but the pre-special long point seems to be optimized for the techniques that 133 uses. So I have presented here pre-special long point as a tool that I can use by my decision to close in to my opponent. So I have been using it like this. From this type of rebind, I am closing in. It is me who is moving in. But I can also use this technique if the opponent is the one who is rushing in and trying to, for example, stab me. And I think this is the situation that the priest had in mind when he was first describing these grappling plays in the manual, because they are described quite early. So, situation is like this. I am thrusting at the opponent, he is doing a rebind, and now he is going forward to thrust me, like this. And I will react to this action by just switching into pre-special long point. So I am defending his thrust by this kind of switch into pre-special long point, and I'm closing the distance, but it is not me who is closing it. It is the opponent who is rushing forward. So the only thing that I need to do, do a rebind on me, that I need to do is just to switch like this, and this will defend the attack of the opponent, and I am in the great situation to grab the hands of my opponent. Now, there is a question and a possible objection to my conclusions, and that is, why is the manual teaching us pre-special long point so late and the grappling plays so early, if these two things are so closely connected? If pre-special long point is a prerequisite for any of these grappling plays, then you would expect that you will learn pre-special long point first and then the grappling plays logically. But in 133 it is not in this way. The first mention of a possibility of grabbing the opponent's arms by my arm is in the very first play. And the first image of this technique we have in one of the plays of Kruke, so also quite early. But pre-special long point is introduced almost at the end of the manual. So how is it possible? How does this make sense? Well, I think it does make sense. But it is based on how the priest was teaching his students. Because I have some ideas about it. Of course, these are speculations. I can't be sure about that. I have more than one reason to think this, but I can't be sure about it. Maybe I will talk about this topic in some videos in the future. But I think that the priest was teaching his students by first giving them a small sequences that would work as a simple self-defense. So these sequences would well fit in his system. It is nothing outside of his system. It is something that he would himself use. But he would not give the students like too much information, too many complicated things. He would just tell them, if the opponent attacks you like this, you would do this, this and this. So the students would first gain from the priest these simple self-defense advices and simple self-defense techniques, self-defense sequences that would possibly help them a lot in a self-defense situation. They have quite a reasonable chance of success. And as the students would progress through the course, his fencing course, they would slowly get more theory, more possibilities, and understanding of risks. They would understand well where these simple sequences can go wrong, and if they do, how to solve it. So the priest would start by teaching a simple self-defense advices to his students to give them quickly something that reasonably works. And slowly, by adding more features and more information, he would turn this simple self-defense into a full martial art. And this, I think, is the way how the priest was teaching his students. And I also think that this is the way how the manual 133 is organized. It also starts by simple actions without too much theory, and you are slowly getting more and more information. And that's why the priest would present you first with the possibility of grabbing the opponent's arms without getting into problems with pre-special long point. Because you don't need it. The only thing you need is that if you are binding on the left and below and the opponent really pushes hard forward, you can yield and grab his hands. And you can do this fast, you can do this rasantly, and if you do in a self-defense situation, it has a pretty good chance of succeeding. So you can use it. And you don't need to know that you would in fact first do this pre-special long point and then reach for the opponent's arms. But as you progress through the priest's teaching, the priest would like you to know that in fact this action of grabbing the opponent's arms is done in two steps. First, close the distance with pre-special long point. Second, grab the arms. And because it is done in two steps, it means that the opponent may react and he may do something about what you are doing. And he may defend and it may go wrong. And that is where you need this pre-special long point, because it means that you will start by closing the distance, but the opponent reacted. And you suddenly need to handle the opponent's reaction while being in the pre-special long point. And that is where you start needing pre-special long point as a position. Before that, you could do just this grab without knowing that you are passing through this pre-special long point, because you are not using pre-special long point position for anything. But if you need to react to what the opponent is doing during this action, there is where the pre-special long point comes handy. So these were my ideas. That's it.